Okay, thank you so very much. A moment, let me share my screen. Okay, so let's do this. Just a moment. Yeah, thank you very much to the organizers. Thank you very much for an opportunity to speak in Ethiopia for the second time, or basically at this for the second time. And like in exactly 1 year, right? Last year, around the same time, I was in Addis to attend the first Addis. That was a GDG event. Now we're here to discuss developers and clubs. It's a pleasure to be back once more, do it virtual. So my session today is to give an overview of the Developer Student Clubs program, what we do, why we were created, when we were created, and what is our goal. My name is Awal, Mohammed Samu, like it was mentioned, Mohammed Awal Samu, and I happen to be the program manager for Developer Student Clubs across Sub-Saharan Africa. At the cost of this presentation, if you have any question, feel free to type in on the chat section, or AwalMS is my Twitter handle, or you can feel free to probably send me a tweet or send me a DM, whichever one works best for you. So I know I went through the attendee list and I noticed we have people who are not necessarily students, but then the slide was designed with students in mind. So there are questions. My slides often start with questions, and some of the questions I will ask here may not apply to you. If it doesn't apply to you, no worries. If you're a student, please do as much as possible to respond to the questions. My first question goes this way. Um, how many of you students want to work in tech after graduation? So I'm going to be back on the chat section to see. Feel free to type in on the chat section. How many of you want to work in tech after graduation? Students in the house. Okay, we have one, two. Once we get to five, we'll move on. Three, four, five. Great. Yeah, the number keeps going up, right? So that's one part of the question. So if you answer this question, please do as well as answer this. Or do you think you have all the tools you need to be employed in tech? So it's one thing to be interested in working in tech, it's another thing to be ready, right? You need to be able to you must have had experience, you must have the tools needed and things like that. Yeah, so uh, yeah, so I can see. I think no, not really, and things like this. So great. So the answer to these two questions, right, is basically the reason why the Developer Student Clubs program was created. So let's look at a brief history. Um, so one thing the developers relations team at Google noticed was every year we have openings, so internship openings for students across the world to take on a role as a software engineering intern at Google. And not only Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and literally almost every company usually has the opening, this role that is open to students, right? We often get multiple applications. Many people apply to become to be interns, but then when they get to the interview, we notice yes, even though they have good grades from school, they literally have no technical experience, no practical experience. Basically, they do have the theoretical aspect, but not in practical. So the developer relations team decided, how about we bring up a program that will try to do one thing. They'll try to do this to bridge the gap between theory and practice for student developers, right? Or you could probably say bridging the gap between theoretical computer science concepts, not theoretical computer science courses, basically concepts, and what is in the industry. So the Developers and Clubs program was started in 2017 in India with this same purpose, to bridge that gap. Students read C plus, were taught C plus plus in school, were taught C, were taught Java, they wrote the code on papers, right, and submit and they were graded. But then what happens when they come for interviews? They fail. So in 2017, it started in India with this sole aim to bridge this gap. When students learn things in school, they should get the opportunity to practicalize what they're learning. That way, when they come to the industry, they don't get surprised. Most times, you hardly see a school curriculum that teaches students JavaScript. But the very moment you say you want to become a web person and then you come to the industry, you will see JavaScript in every angle of your life. But like you're not taught in school. So that was the reason why the DSC program started in 2017 in India. In 2018, it came down to SSA, and we're lucky to start with 54 DSCs. It was basically GDGs that were in campuses, they were converted to DSC as a then. And then we moved on to in 2019, 2020, we now extended to 100 DSCs across Africa. And that was when we had the first DSC in Ethiopia, and it was Addis Ababa University. So that was how we had the first, that's how the first DSC came to Ethiopia. This year, we ended up selecting 200 DSC leads, and then we have around 6 DSCs in Ethiopia at the moment. So, which is like with the same goal, try to see a possibility of bridging the gap between what is taught in school and what the students can learn. You will possibly assume, hey, our school have been able to teach us this, but if you know the industry well enough, or the industry move very, very fast, what is practiced in the industry is literally hard for the school to be able to catch up with. Not because they cannot, but because the industry can, what you probably think is a standard yesterday will possibly be outdated today, right? And curriculum, changing curriculums is not as easy as um, how it works in the industry that one person can probably change how best practices work. So that is why the DSC is formed. Basically, as a summary, to bridge the gap between theory and practice. So, in an essence, our goal is to create impact, right? And impact to us is by helping equip students and empower them with the necessary resources they can get to be able to impact on their community through technology. So we will provide resources to DSC leads. They try to empower members of their community by organizing workshops, hands-on training, hackathons, and stuff like this, right? Where students who attend the events get to learn the necessary skill, right? They connect with other people and learn and get the necessary skills that they can be able to use to build solutions to local problem in their community. So it's not about building local solutions to Google's problem. It's about building solutions to their own local community. So when you're being trained as in a DSC event, think of how you're going to be able to build projects that will be of impact to members of your community. Whatever you build in as a member of a DSC still remains yours. You own the total IP, all copyright and everything regarding the project you're working on. As you do this, put it at the back of your mind that though we only have 200 DSCs in SSA, we actually have a network of over 1,250 DSCs. I think the exact number should be around 1,259, just one shy of 1,260. DSC campuses across the world, and every single school has one DSC. And the good thing about this is the DSC lead, the DSC program is not just in Africa or in India where it started. We have DSCs in literally every single region. When I mean every region, I mean from Antarctica to New Zealand, from Antarctica to Europe, from as Sub-Saharan Africa to Middle East, right? From North American to Latin American. We have DSCs everywhere. Though the total number is 12250, but you agree with me, it's a very huge number. Yes, we only have 6 in Ethiopia, and there are more than 6 universities in Ethiopia, but growth is something we take gradually. At the moment, this is what we have. It's something that started with just 30 campuses, and then today we are at this number over the period of 4 years. So it's something we keep improving, and just know that you're part of a global community, not just a community that is born out of Ethiopia or Sub-Saharan Africa. So as we try to see people create impact, right? we wanted to make it more interesting. So we started a program called the DSC Solutions Challenge, which happens once a year. And the goal is to solve a problem for your community or a real organization. It could be you building the solutions to your school or to your student environment, or building a solution to the whole of your town, right? You possibly notice there is a problem that is happening and you think you can use technology to solve it. So we do this every year. We usually announce January 1. We announce the details and everything. And our only requirement, what has been the requirement since the first year in 2019, is that you at least incorporate one Google technology, right? It could be a product, or it can be a platform. You can possibly be building for the Android platform, or you're using Firebase as the back end of your project, or just for authentication. It could be you're deploying the whole of your back end, or the whole of your project to Google Cloud Platform. That is just the requirement. Or it could be as interesting as building the app using Flutter, right? Any of these makes you qualified. It's just the requirement. Every other thing, the only other requirement is to build solutions for your local problem. We don't want you to be solving time traveling. We are not trying to say, hey, try. We're not also telling you to to find a vaccine for COVID-19, or try to solve cancer. Build something, no matter how small it is. If it is a solution to a local problem, it's all that we want. And you can start working on it now, right? Yeah, we announced January, submission gets open in March, but then you can start working on it now. We don't have a problem statement. That is the problem statement, basically. Solve a problem in your local community. So and then the good thing is it started in 2019, like I said, and then in 2019 we only had one winner, and I'm proud, right? I'm proud, and we're lucky to have the first winning solution in the world to come from Africa, and it's actually funny as it is that it's from a neighboring country to you. The first DSC to win the Solutions Challenge came from Uganda. A university in northern Uganda named Muni University built this app, an immunization calculator. It basically tells health workers and mothers what immunization is due for their infant. So you can see this is not the best of apps, right? This is not the best of interface. Basically, you possibly say, I can build something better than this. But yeah, that was what was built, and that was the winning solution. So what we're interested in is not the best UI. It is what solves the most complex of issues, right? No matter how basic it is. That was 2019. And in 2020, we still participated. And then instead of having just one winner, because we realized different people build solutions to different problems, we saying just one solution is okay doesn't really serve well. So this year we decided to select 10 top winners. And we're lucky to have two of those 10 winners from Africa. One from the University of Education in Kumasi, Ghana, and the other one is from Midland State University in Zimbabwe. The ones from the team from Ghana built an emergency response assistant. Basically, it lets you report emergency to relevant authority by using your location service. Well, the other one is basically a plagiarism checker. It checks for plagiarism when students submit their thesis and capstone projects. So there were 10 winners, like I said, and then we had a demo day. Basically, got them to be able to explain what they did, and we have some teams, some of my teammates at Google here from different products get to ask them questions, and then we took questions from audience. If you want to watch the demo, this link here sends you to the video about it, or you see the whole video of the demo. And our keynote speaker was no one but one of the two people that built the internet, the infrastructure we're using. They basically built solutions to the problem for them as at that time. And so these guys built the same thing. And then we got the pleasure of having him be our keynote speaker. So to learn more about the DSC program, use this link, g.co/dev/DSC, to learn more about the DSC program. So it's my time, and thank you so very much for listening. Organizers, over to you.
Thank you very much, Awal.